Good morning, everyone. This is Melody Reels at the Iowa Quilt Museum here in Winterset, Iowa. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I am a little behind. I usually try to be on here by 9 a.m. I say usually, I should probably say that pretty loosely, give or take a few minutes, as the example of today. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Thank you for joining this morning. When you do join, nobody's here, just me talking to myself. Yay, Leslie's here. Thanks, Leslie. Good morning. Real quick, just some announcements. I always say real quick, but it always takes me a couple minutes. Stitch In is today. Stitch in the museum every second Thursday of the month. You could come in here, you could sit back with like-minded stitchers and work on a project. I have ladies needle pointing, crocheting, quilting, so whatever you want to work on, come and stitch in this beautiful gallery with some friends. That's every second Thursday of the month. I believe I had said that if you are a member, it's free to come in, and I think it's like $5 for you to come and stitch in all day. So from 10 to 4, you can come do that today. Diane, I have a lecture series coming up with Diane Murtha starting in January. It's a 3-part lecture series. Diane Murtha, if you don't know, she's a published quilter out of Eastern Iowa. She's going to do a 3-part lecture on Saturday, January 24th from 2 to 3. Challenge accepted, expanding your creative boundaries. Saturday, February 21st from 2 to 3, peaceful stitching, and Saturday, March 21st from 2 to 3, license to play. You can find more information on that on our website. It's $20 a class or $50 for all 3. Also, Sujata Shah has a class coming up in April, and we have a featherweight, I believe it's a maintenance class in March. So just keep an eye out for those. I'll have more information about those. Every class you participate in, everything that you sign up for, every time you come in for stitching or membership helps the museum stay moving forward. So I appreciate you looking into that and seeing if that's something that you would be interested in and participating in. We need volunteers. We need volunteers in the gift shop. To try to help offset our costs, we ask volunteers to work in our gift shop. We do have a couple paid staff, but usually our board members volunteer in there, and we're open to, I do have another gal, Lori Clark, who volunteers in there when she can. If you are interested, you can reach me here at the museum through the phone or email. More information, I just had a post about that, I think yesterday, and you can look at that post as well. I am now collecting stash items. Share Your Stash sale will be in November. We just had it a month ago. We're going to have another one next year. I can't tell you the date for sure because I don't remember. I think it's November 8th. But anyway, we'll start taking your Share Your Stash items now. And lastly, 2026 is the Iowa Quilt Museum's 10-year anniversary. And yay! In that celebration, we're going to celebrate that whole year. We're looking at doing a giveaway each month. I don't know what that looks like yet, but each month there'll be a little something as a giveaway to celebrate. Also, we're doing a capital campaign. So if you would like to help support the museum last multiple 10 more years, multiple decades, please go to our website and take a look at the capital campaign for that as well to help us kind of pay off. We have a mortgage for the building. We had to take it out a loan during COVID, and we just would like to have sustainability. And if you would like to help with that, check our website and our social media. And also during that next year, we will have a gallery. We have an exhibit that'll be a 10-year anniversary retrospect. And so we're really excited about the response we've had about the quilters we've reached out to. It'll be a collective of all quilters, modern quilt, art quilt, traditional quilters who have exhibited in the museum in the past. And so we'll have them do one big group exhibit to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. So that's that. Okay, I don't know how long that took because my clock's not up. So I hope that didn't take too long. Let's get to today's exhibit. So if you recall, we have a new exhibit. It's called Rebound, Renew, Reimagined. It's from the Manhattan Quilters Guild out of New York. They did a quilt challenge, a 40 by 40 quilt, 40 by 40, so they're not real large. And they kind of did a challenge of how renewed were you when you came out of COVID? Like, how did that affect you? And so just something about reemerging from COVID and after being quarantined. So we did one last week about how she took her old cityscapes and reimagined them into a new project. Well, this quilt I wanted to feature today kind of talks about some of the struggles she had during COVID. And this quilter is Ruth Marchese. She submitted an extra quilt. So we have 19 in the Rebound, Renew, Reimagine, but we had extra space. So some of the quilters sent an extra quilt to be on display. And Ruth here, she sent an extra quilt. So we'll take a road trip to the back to see her other quilt she had sent us. So Ruth, real quick, was born in Switzerland, Marchese, grew up exposed to her father's extensive collection of Oriental rugs, which sparked her fascination with colors and infinite variations of textiles. Self-taught and inspired by the endless possibilities of using scraps of fabrics to produce warm and functional objects, she made her first quilts. She eventually graduated to creating art quilts to tell stories and express her feelings about the world we live in. Her most recent pieces, influenced by Korean fiber artist Chung-hee Lee, are made with transparent fabrics, creating a stained glass visual effect. Last week's artist, I don't know what I was going to say about that. Boy, it just went. A thought was there, and then it just left. Anyway, I'm going to flip you around so you can see the quilt. This quilt is called Release Me. We will take a closer look at this. If you notice at the bottom of the screen there, I have a little barrier because this quilt we wanted to set away from the wall so you could see the shadow design behind it. I will say, I don't know if this is how it was always displayed, but we took this idea from the International Quilt Museum when we saw it on display there in Lincoln, Nebraska. So I wanted to replicate that because I thought it was so cool to have that shadow of the quilt lines on the wall. So this is called Release Me, 40 by 40 piece and quilted by Ruth Marchese. Materials and construction techniques to use: polyester organza, beads, mesh tubing, plastic netting, Guatemalan worry doll, and man, I thought I did all my research. Bojagi inspired piecing. So I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't know what that means. Quilt story. After 48 years of marriage, my husband passed away in April of 2021. Suddenly, I found myself alone in a world where everyone was trapped and forced in isolation. The social support that I had nurtured over many years fell apart. It seemed as if everyone was living in their own personal bubble of fear. Asking questions about the wisdom of it all was frowned upon and discouraged. I felt trapped, physically, emotionally, mentally, and socially isolated, with few outlets and little support, waiting for release. Living through 2020 pandemic took a toll on everyone in different ways. This is why I wanted to share this one first. I will not be touching this quilt. It's it makes me so nervous. I feel like it's so delicate and so just so precious. So I am going to take you off the stand and we're going to take a closer look at it. Step over my barricades, but you can see the little doll trapped in here and her spider web here. And she's got these little beads in here. I think it's interesting. She's got these little boxes up here. These are not tacked down up top. You know, we all had struggles during the COVID pandemic and being isolated, but losing your partner, I just can't even imagine. Take a look back here at the shadow. It's double lit, so you have double lines on here, but it was the only way I could really get the quilt lit really well as have the shadow on the back. But it's just such a meaningful quilt, and I hope it was therapeutic for her to create. So if you're just joining, this quilt is called Release Me by Ruth Marchese. After 48 years of marriage, my husband passed away in April of 2021. Suddenly, I found myself alone in the world where everyone was trapped in forced isolation. The social support that I nurtured over many years fell apart. It seemed as if everyone was living with their own personal bubble of fear. Asking questions for the wisdom of it all was frowned upon and discouraged. I felt trapped, physically, emotionally, mentally, and socially isolated, with few outlets and little support, waiting for release. There she is, she's trapped in there. I think that says quite a bit. I don't know what else to add to it. But definitely deserving of the featured wall. And something so personal to Ruth. Okay, we are going to take a road trip. And we are going to back away from Release Me. And we're going to go to the back here, where the extra quilts. We kind of separated the galleries. So as you come around the corner, is the extra quilts that quilters sent. This is called Reassembling the Pieces. The dimensions are 65 by 75, pieced and quilted by Ruth Marchese, and it is for sale. Materials and construction techniques used: polyester organza beads, mesh tubing, plastic netting, Guatemala worry doll. Oh, good gore. I didn't know there was one in here as well. Wait. Is there? Well, now we're going to have to look for it, because I didn't know there was one in here. I'm sorry. I'm quiet because I'm looking for it. Okay, anyway. And the Bojagi inspired piecing, which I'm not sure that's how you say it. It's Bojagi. In this piece, I am trying to reflect the emotional roller coaster that was the year 2020 turned out to be. It started on a very positive note with our son visiting from China together with his girlfriend. Later, I took a fall and injured my head, forced me to wear a splint for a few weeks, hence the plastic pieces. Seamlessly, we slid into the pandemic that turned all our lives upside down. Ever since, I have been trying often, not very successfully, to remain positive and to reassemble the bits and pieces, literally and figuratively of my life. So both of these pieces are very personal and emotional. Okay, so I'm going to take you off the stand. And I don't know if you could see up there, she had these dowels already put in up at the top. And we had to kind of puzzle piece these together to hang them. But let's take a closer look at this one. Maybe we can find the Guatemalan doll. I didn't know there was one in here. Oh, look at her little flower. You know, when something's so personal and they're working through something so painful, physically, emotionally, it reminds me of, because I'm a big Frida Kahlo fan, and I think about her and how she worked through her pain. And that's kind of same thing. Okay, I don't see the doll. Unless it's trapped in there. I don't think so. I love how it gives the stained glass look. And this would have been another great one to hang away from the wall because I'm almost positive, I don't want to touch it, but I'm almost positive the colors probably reflect on the wall as well to give a stained glass look on the back. It just didn't have the capability to do that with this one as well. But it would have been stunning to kind of move away from the wall as well. I find it interesting, you've got these really colorful pieces on each side, and then this, it's more black and white, but you have the pieces in here with a little bit of color, just, you know, fractured, right? And the whole quilt is fractured into pieces, and she's trying to reassemble them, and they're not quite matching up, are they? There's a little bit, there's a jaunt here for this piece here, but it still doesn't quite fit. I hope that's, I don't want to pull on anything, but I think that's just, yeah. There we go. Very emotional and very meaningful quilts. These little pieces she has in here. You know, to lose your partner in life anytime is a challenge. Well, this is a very emotional exhibit. Thursday morning video. Again, this is called Reassembling the Pieces. Dimension 65 by 75 by Ruth Marchese. Polyester, organza, beads, mesh tubing, plastic netting, Guatemala worry doll, which I didn't find. So I don't know if that's right. Anyway, quilt story. In this piece, I'm trying to reflect the emotional roller coaster that the year 2020 turned out to be. It started a very positive note with our son visiting from China together with his girlfriend. Later, I took a fall and injured my hand, which forced me to wear a splint for a few weeks, hence the plastic pieces. I wonder if I said head earlier. It was hand. Seamlessly, we slid into the pandemic that turned all our lives upside down. Ever since, I have been trying, often not very successfully, to remain positive and to reassemble the bits and pieces, literally and figuratively, of my life. You know, reassembling doesn't mean that it's gonna look exactly the same either. You know, I wonder if you can interpret it as this was her life prior. This is when it kind of fell apart during COVID. And this is her trying to reassemble something new. Wow, okay. I'm not even gonna flip the camera around. I'm awfully emotional about this. This is really something. Okay, I gotta set up tables for stitching and have some fun ladies come in. So I'm gonna turn this around. All right, well, thank you so much for joining. I hope this inspires you to come visit. Come see Ruth Marchese, maybe look her up. She does not have a website. I don't believe she has social media. The only information I could find was what was on the Manhattan Quilters Guild's website. But she does have more of her work on there that you can also take a look at. Thank you so much for joining this morning. I will have maybe a more lighter quilt to focus on. Feels so silly. Anyway, thank you for joining. Have a wonderful weekend and hug your loved ones.